search thrift stores, Goodwills, garage sales, and more for possible treasures. Then I decide whether to purchase or pass. Watch what I do and decide for yourself. Would you buy it? All right, welcome to a special episode of WyBi. Would you buy it? For top 10 wackiest, craziest, most fun finds for 2020. These are not necessarily the things that sold for the most money, but just, not everyday finds. Got a cool glow-in-the-dark neon polyester McDonald's uniform. Some keychains that got for like 25 cents each that kind of sold.
There's also the Russian one, getting in trouble with the commies, possibly.
Check that one out. Yeah, we could be, the KGB could be watching us as we speak. So, again, these videos are just kind of depicting the top 10 most fun finds for 2020. All right, so number 10 is a SureSafe RF bug detector. I think I got this at a garage sale. Do you remember? I don't even know if you were off at college for this one.
I don't really remember this one.
All right. So I think it was a garage sale or maybe a Goodwill. I really almost didn't even know what this thing was, but I figured I would just buy it and list it. Apparently you're able to like sweep a room, and if there's hidden listening devices on the RF frequency, it will detect them. And I put a battery in it, and the lights, lit up. Yeah. But I don't, how the hell am I going to test it? So I list it, and after a little while, some guy reaches out to me, and he's obviously a Rusky. He's a guy from Russia. He's like, "Will you sell to Russia?" But that's not even a Russian accent. I don't know how to do a Russian accent. He's like, "Will you sell to Russia?" And I'm like, "Sorry, you're not on the, I do international global shipping, but Russia wasn't on there. I'm sorry, sorry." And 2 or 3 times, "Oh, please, you can do it. You can trust me. I'm a good person." Like, yeah, no, I'm not doing it, dude. And I might have said something like, if you can get somebody else to buy it for you, that's up to you. And so then he's, back and forth with me. Well, I have a friend in, Uzbekistan or whatever the hell. And so finally somebody does buy it for him or whatever the hell. I didn't even want to know. At this point, I think the friggin' KGB is going to come get me for aiding and abetting them. God knows what. So the dude, he did get it. And he actually, I think he rated me afterwards saying, very good American seller. And so, I only made $15 on it, but it was crazy. It was a fun find and just a kind of a fun story.
Yeah.
All right. So number 9 is some hockey pucks by a company called In Glasgow. This was a Goodwill find. And they were just sitting on the shelf. There was, I think, 2 or 3 huge bags of these things, these huge hockey pucks. And again, I didn't know anything about them. I was trying to look them up. I kind of went back and forth. They weren't super cheap. I think they were almost like $15 a bag or something.
Oh, really?
They weren't super cheap.
Mm-hmm.
There was a ton of them. There's probably, there's probably like 40 of them or 50 of them. And I had some idea that they might be worth something. So I ended up getting them. I broke them up into 2 lots. One lot was with 22 teams, just team logos. Mm-hmm. Then there was one lot with 9 different pucks for the Philadelphia Flyers, for Flyers fans. Yeah. There was another lot with for Mario Lemieux from the Pittsburgh Penguins. And those 3 sold, and I made a profit of $78 on those. There's one lot that hasn't sold, 6 Stanley Cup ones. And I have no clue why those wouldn't sell. But, it was kind of, again, you don't generally see stuff like that. It was obviously some collector, and they were kind of beat. They were not in awesome shape. But they were fun to look at, and again, $78 is a decent profit, so it was a good find. Mm-hmm. All right, so number 8 is another sports find. I was in a thrift store and saw some wiffle bats. They're the wiffle bats that I used as a kid, so they were kind of old. And on a lark, I looked them up. And there were some wiffle bats that were selling for $100 some. And I'm like, what the hell? And it's hard. I stole even though I sold. So I bought, I think, 3 of them or 4 of them, and I kept one and sold the other 2 in 2 lots. And I had a problem because, like, on the listings, it's like generation 1, generation 2. Is it a flat top? Is it a this? The logos mattered. And I still don't quite know. I think I had generation 1, 2, but I would put like question marks on the listing because I'm like, I'm not trying to deceive somebody. I just don't know what the frig I'm doing. So I did put them into 2 lots, and one of them did sell for a profit of $37. The other 2, which as far as I knew were actually seemed like better and should have gone for more, still have not sold. So I don't know if once springtime comes around again and the pandemic's over, people start getting out there with wiffle bats, they'll sell. But it's weird what people want: old plastic wiffle bats. And just as a side note, I also found this football, this Kosum safety football. That's kind of looks like a wiffle ball, but it's a football. And again, bought it at a garage sale because I had never had one as a kid, but I totally knew it. And I was able to make a profit of 24 on that. So kind of just sticking that one in there because it's kind of a related vintagey, old time sports stuff. So number 7 are some religious records, kids' religious records. These were a find at Goodwill. And I got a record player not long ago. My son, you have a record player, and he's now cool like me. Hey man, don't laugh at that. And he's collecting records as well. And so sometimes if we have the time, I think we were literally sitting on the floor at this Goodwill.
Yeah.
Right? Wasn't there like piles?
Yeah, I think that was the one with like a whole row, like a ton of them.
Right. And again, 99% of it is unadulterated Barry Manilow and Barbra Streisand. I mean, that's all it is. But I saw these kids' religious ones, and I put them aside, and I started to look at them. And so it's Salty and Colby, and then Kids' Praise Records. Again, I was not familiar with them. I never had them as a kid, never seen them as an adult even, but just wondered about it. So I looked them up in the store, and I saw that they might be worth something. And indeed, they're actually, again, I didn't get rich off of them, but the 4 Kids' Praise albums, which were numbers 2, 3, 4, and 5, sold for a profit of like 32, and the 3 Salties and Colby's Kids sold for a profit of 20. So I made $52 off of it. And again, it's just, to me, it's that that needle in the haystack when you're literally there was hundreds. That's right.
And didn't we actually go back like the next time or 2 times and find the first one or something?
We did. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So if we had the complete set, my God. But it was just fun. We're looking for ourselves first, and then if we can buy some stuff to kind of pay for our habit, that'd be a good thing. So good find. So number 6 is a lot of vintage Fisher Price sets. We were at, again, a secondhand store, and again, rooting around in a bin of stuff. Oh, no, actually, no. It was boxes. There was a couple of boxes that somebody had obviously brought in and dropped off near the counter. And you're supposed to drop them off back, but for whatever reason, they were sitting there by the counter. I started poking my nose in them. And I didn't want to be a jerk, so I actually asked the girl who was working there. I said, is it okay if I look at these things? I'm interested, because sometimes they'll be like, hey, those aren't for sale yet.
Yeah.
And she let me do that, so I looked at it, opened them up, bunch of old Fisher Price stuff. There was a camper, a super cool camper, an airport, and then there's some other smaller things like that I ended up selling separately, like some horse harnesses and bulldozers and stuff. But really, like, I like Fisher Price, and I thought these were pretty cool, and I said, okay, I want to get these. And I asked the woman, how much they were. And I think she said something like, $4. And at first I'm thinking, like, are you saying $4 for like each thing? But she wanted $4 for the whole, like, 2 boxes. And I was like, holy crap. And I actually offered her more money because I sort of felt slightly guilty. But she really didn't take it. So I paid $4. I sold them in some different lots. And overall, the profit I made on them was about $83.
Pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good. And again, some of it's just the fun of seeing these things.
Yeah.
And just, I don't know, nostalgia. So that's worth something. So number 5 is a bunch of keychains. Most of them are for, they're vintage, like leather keychains with the logos from different car companies on them. This was at a garage sale. They were all tossed in together in one of those plastic bins where people don't, it's like, here's a bunch of crap, kind of junk drawer kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I saw them, the logos. There's something about the Mercury, Lincoln Continental, Mercedes Benz logos that are fun. I didn't know what they were worth. I forget if I even bothered looking. Sometimes when it's that cheap, you're just like, what the hell? And I think they were like 50 cents each or 3 for $1. I don't remember exactly what I paid. And most of them have sold. There's a few that haven't sold yet. But I've profited so far $83 on a bunch of keychains.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. So I mean, some of them are selling for $14, $15 each. So again, a lot of it's not worth anything, but this was a decent find, and it was pretty easy to sell. Pop them in a bunch of padded envelopes and send them out. So yeah, easy to photograph and easy to sell. So number 4 is a Kenner building blaster set. It was not complete, but it was in box. And it wasn't working. It's this set that you kind of build a building, and then there's a thing that kind of smashes it down. And the thing that smashes it down was not working. So I actually have a separate video. I'll put a link below that shows how I fixed that and how it's working. After I got it working, I played with this a lot more than a grown man should have. It was fun, and I took some slow motion videos. So check out that video. It's actually fun. And again, so it's a fun set, and again, it was more fun kind of playing with it almost than anything else. I made a profit of about $30 on it. So again, it's not something I've seen before. So it reminded me of girder and panel kind of stuff, but it was definitely different, and the demolishing part of it was definitely an added plus. So number 3 is a Hulk Hogan plush. I'm actually kind of old, so I'm not into WWE, WWF. What the heck is it?
Yeah, WWE.
Yeah, whatever. But I knew Hulk Hogan, and when I saw this plush, it was in a Goodwill. I thought, well, somebody wants a Hulk Hogan plush, so I bought it. It was in decent condition, especially for a plush, which can get super dirty, ripped up and stuff. And I was able to actually sell it for a profit of $67, which is, again, for a plush, pretty good. All right, so number 2 is some 8mm home videos. We had been in Long Island, where my son's going to college, Long Island, New York, and we went to it was a bunch of garage sales in a town. I think we were at a church or something, and I found that 8mm, that Bell and Howell 8mm film projector. And the woman said it worked. We turned it on. The light was working. So I bought that, and actually have a video of how to use that. So look for a link below. And of course, once you do that, you got to actually buy some films, right? So at a garage sale later on, I found somebody selling some videos, I think that's what it was. Yeah. And they said they were home videos. The descriptions were unclear. There's something about Florida, some racing and stuff like that. And again, I forget what I paid. It wasn't a bunch, but I bought them, and I think there was three of them, and I ended up watching them. And one of them had some home videos of Christmas time and family get-togethers and New Year's Eve, and that was kind of fun. There was another one that seemed to show some races, and there's actually a bunch of vacation ones, and so those were kind of neat. Florida trips, marine land, stuff like that. Then one had what it looked to be the Trenton Speedway, but the kind of the piece de la resistance was one. Again, this took some research. I didn't know what the hell I was looking at the first time I saw it, but I would pause it and I'd look at some things, and it turns out it was the Daytona Auto Beach Race, where they actually used to race on the beach at Daytona Beach, and people were standing right next to the cars as they flew by. And apparently, I think the one I got was one of the last years. The home video was one of the last years they actually did the race, 1958. And there's actually a video of Paul Goldsmith, who won it that year, and apparently is well known. And some of the video is pretty good. I mean, Justin, you saw it. I mean, it's
interesting, yeah.
Right. Yeah. And again, interesting is the word. The quality is, what you'd expect, but cars going through the surf, hitting the surf and not waves, water splashing up and stuff like that. So I thought I had something to sell. Some of the 8mm stuff sells for a lot. Some of it sells for next to nothing. So in terms of selling them, I did sell them in 3 different lots. One was the Daytona Beach one one was the Trenton Beach, and one was Home Videos. And the profit was a total of $108, with the Daytona Beach one selling for the most. I think with that one alone was a $75 profit. So
that's pretty good.
yeah, it was. And again, it was just kind of, there's something about putting these things on the projector, hearing them click through, and just watching that grainy footage. So it was cool, and I'm glad somebody out there will hopefully enjoy them. So for number one, you're going to see that this is a old time McDonald's shirt, but there's a bit of a story with it. I had seen an ad for an estate sale, and it was like going on for 3 or 4 days. I ended up going the first day, and it was the kind of estate sale I love. The person had, obviously, and I talked to the daughters, I think, who were selling the stuff. The parents who were, their estate was being sold, had been collectors, and I think one woman said, they had bought a bunch of auction stuff, and so there was a hodgepodge of stuff in boxes, a lot of it dirty, broken, kind of crappy. But I was, you were able to dig through stuff, and so day one I went through and I dug through a bunch of stuff. So I'm going to include some of the pictures of the other things that I found here, like a bunch of random some games and Dungeons and Dragons figures and some Fisher Price stuff. And then one of the things that I found sitting in a bunch of clothes was this McDonald's uniform from probably like the 80s or the 90s, sweet green, bright green, neon green polyester. And so I bought it amongst a bunch of other things. I went back there like 2 different days because I just couldn't get enough of it. And Justin, this would have been the kind of place that drove you nuts. Do you like dirty stuff?
Not really.
Old stuff. You love old, crappy stuff, broken stuff?
Not exactly.
Yeah. So, and I was there for like hours, so it's probably best you miss this one. But it was a lot of fun, and the McDonald's shirt, I had initially looked online, and some people were trying to sell things like it for $100-some. It didn't go for that. I forget what it sold for exactly, but I managed a profit of about $25, and it was decent. Yeah, it was still decent and a lot of fun. It was just a fun sale to go back there for 3 days, and sports glasses and a whole bunch of other things. So it was good. All right, so those were some kind of crazy finds, right?
Yeah.
Hope you enjoyed that video. We do have 2 other special WyBi Best Of for 2020 videos. One does list our top 10 profits, and the other is actually our top 10 losers, right? Because you don't always win. So please check those out. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again.